36. The room was small and overheated. Even with the gas jets turned down to a minimum, they still produced enough heat to make ventilation important. The secrecy of the meeting, however, was such that the participants would not allow even the smallest access to the room. The main door was locked and barred. Beyond the portal was a guard who would allow no one to pass without permission from those already within. The only unbarred door was the one to the serving area, but the servant station was as secure as the main room. 5 men were present at the meeting: Hushiko Miburi, Toge Omori, Akira Kochira, Deu Kanso, and Pinto Geppu. They sat cross-legged around the inlaid table, which was set with the cups and a pot of a simple tea service. Around the perimeter of the room, joss sticks wafted the smoke of incense into the motionless air. Kochira, host of the ceremony, tapped softly on the table, and as if by magic, a small tatate appeared from the serving quarters to replace the empty teapot with a full one. Then the alien vanished as quietly as he had come, returning to the serving area. 3 other tatate remained, but the only humans within the secure rooms were the 5 at the table. Kochiro wiped his mouth with a small cloth, carefully tapping his lips with a single cloth-protected finger. "We are all of one mind," he said, his voice so soft that it carried only to the other 4. The others sat motionless, wooden statues carved and silent. They heard, but there was no reason to answer. "And since we are all of the same mind, and since we have discussed this before, we need only review what we have planned and what we have discovered within the past 5 days. When first we met, we discussed the situation presented by the arrival of the other humans. We did not know then, and I am not sure we know even now, from where these people come. They have said, and they continue to say, that they come from beyond the stars to arrive here by accident. I accept the story, yet there is still the nagging doubt. They carry the symbol of our own legendary ancestors. That could be mere coincidence, but I think it is not likely. But let us pass over that for now. They are here. They bring a level of technical ability far beyond what we possess, a level even beyond what the legends of our forefathers tell. They can do things that we have not dreamed of. They walk in great machines that are invulnerable to our weapons. I know this to be true. We have tested it. It was that information which spurred me to call the first meeting, and it was that knowledge that has made me so interested in what the rest of you have to say. We first met 5 days ago because of our guest from the Amatukaze, Pinto Geppu. I note that with interest that he has brought another of his brothers to visit us now. We welcome Hushiko Miburi of the Amatukaze. We understand that he has had direct negotiations with the leader of the forest forces, as had Toge Omori. We will be interested to hear their reports. Koshira passed the teapot to his right. Omori poured a serving of tea into his tiny cup and passed the pot to the right again. The pot made its way around the table to come to rest again in front of Kochira. No one spoke during the passage, and none of the participants lifted his eyes above his cup until the ceremony was complete. Then Miburi raised his eyes and spoke. "It is true. I have met the leader of the forest forces. He is Yubari Takuda, and he is a most dangerous man. He does not understand the position of the enclaves. He does not see that we have attained a measure of balance. He does not understand that the best thing he can do is go away with all his brothers. I approached him with these thoughts, but I think he wishes to remain. He plans to impose some structure, a concept of his own, on all of us. I challenged him, but it was of no use. I suggested that he destroy the forces currently within the walls of Usogumo, and that he then leave. This he did not accept. I too have spoken to the named Yubari Takuda, said Omori. I believe I visited him sometime shortly after Hoshiko Muburi's visit. I proposed a different solution to the current problem, but I was also rejected. I suggested that Yubari Takuda join a rentai that is already in existence in Osio. I suggested that our forces combined with his could destroy the new Usoguma forces, and then destroy those of the other cities. Yubari Takuda refused my offer. He said that for the Osio to become dominant would not be a harmonious solution to the situation. He proposed that we unite, that we destroy our weapons, that we form a new society. This information is of great embarrassment to me now. That I would have suggested eliminating all of you, with whom I now have agreed to act in concert, is a terrible stain upon my honor. My only hope is that my actions will benefit all in the future. My actions were taken with the best intentions, and though they were directed against some of you, I trust you will see that I was attempting to perform with honor.
Toge Omori, said Kuchira, we act in honorable ways.
For you to have suggested a course of action that would be detrimental to those of us at this table is not without honor. You did what you saw as a correct course. Times change, and then the opposite way becomes a true one. That is the teaching of the Tao, but it is not without honor. Kuchira nodded to Maburi. It is what I have foreseen would happen. Kuchira went on. That is why at our last meeting I put forward a plan to deal with these problems to our mutual advantage. We are not. He let his eyes make contact with each individual at the table. The most powerful members of our societies. We are not the leaders of our respective cities, but each of us wields certain power, and working together we are stronger than any of the enclaves. It would seem strange that with only 5 people we could be stronger than an entire city, but it is true. Each one of us brings to this convocation significant strengths. We must remember that if we unite, not only do we bring that strength to our Dante, but we also make our former cities weaker by that amount. Toge Omori brings to us an organization of young officers and lords. With those, we can organize a force that is loyal to our leadership. Of them, we will be able to ask any sacrifice. Hoshiko Muburi of the Amatokaze has the skill of a negotiator and contacts within the elements currently positioned in the forest. He has already spoken with Yubari Takura and understands the kind of man he is. Pinto Geppo is a sanyu in the Amatokaze. He is already a member of the 5th Pillar of Knowledge. He can become the spiritual guide of us and all those who will join us. He has a following within his enclave, and he understands the vulnerability of the Sanyu Subash Chi himself. From the Usuguma, we welcome Diao Kanso, the city's wealthiest man, and perhaps the wealthiest man in all of our cities. Not only does he understand the power of wealth, but he also understands how others react to it. It will be through him that we will be able to reach, and have reached, the various members of the new humans. He has already made great progress. Kanso smiled. It was a shy smile, the smile of one who has great power, but prefers not to demonstrate it through ostentatious display.
I have already approached one of the new humans with a proposal. It was not a direct approach. I had my agents accomplish it. The one called Seagroves wishes to acquire gold. I am not sure what he plans to do with it, but he does love it. I have already ensured that he has a continuing supply of the metal. He is very busy accumulating it. I will be able to control him by the volume of its flow. He was very easy. 2 of the people who work for his group, they are named Guardine and Sabine, are also busy acquiring metals and jewels. Both of them, I am sorry to report, are females. They too will be easy to control. Women like interesting bubbles. They are ours. I have even had agents make contact with those in the woods. I did not approach your Yubari Takura, but my people did contact some of the others. There is one who will join our camp. He has been without wealth all his life, and the thought of being rich is an unbearable stimulus. He will join us if we can continue to make it worth his while.
Kojira tapped the table again, and the Tatate replaced the empty teapot once more. The Usagumo host paid no attention to the ancient alien who performed the service. The wizened figure might have been no more than another piece of furniture, for that was how the Usagumo viewed the Tatate. Kojira knew that this Tatate, an old one named Pope, had been in some form of service to the councils of the Usagumo for as long as anyone could remember. He had no friends in the city except for his own family. A piece of furniture.
It is time for us to begin the plan with real objectives,
Kojira announced.
It is time. We know that those people are mercenaries, driven only by individual greed and hope of personal gain. We need to discover what each one wants and then fulfill that need. Some of them we know. We need to find the others. There are those whom we will be able to convince. There are those whom we will not. Those we control, we must bring together into a single force. Those we cannot convince must be eliminated. That is as it must be. Join us or die. There will be some opportunity for the mercenaries to carry out eliminations of their own. That would be better for us because treachery to their own would make them ours completely. But we must not insist on this. Remember that these people are driven by certain desires. We must not tread too heavily on their possible dislikes and lingering loyalties. If they will not terminate their own people, those who will become their enemy, then we must do it. I am sure that Toge Omori or Sanyu Pinto Gepu will be able to find those who will do it. Dao Gepo smiles at the thought. I have no doubt that he also has people who can perform the function. He has, I would also venture, already inquired into the possibility. Once we have the forces of the mercenaries either under our control or eliminated, we will be the masters of our own destiny. We will approach the enclaves with a force at our backs. We will dictate the future. Gentlemen, we can be the new order. We can be the future.
There was a general assent and excitement. Now the plan was before them. Each had an assignment. They would meet again, and when that time came, each would have assets under his control. They filed out of the room and passed the silent guard just as the first blue-amber light of dawn crept over the eastern horizon. Pope cleared the table, washed the dishes, and went home to his family.